Hello and welcome back. This week we are drawing faces once more, but we are adding another layer to it. So let's jump right into it. So last week we drew faces, just generic, getting the simplicity down. I loved seeing them. Some were really impressive. Maybe some we didn't need to go over this. So we are going to practice drawing proportional faces again, but this time we are going to draw someone we know, or a picture of someone. So instead of just generic eyes, we're going to draw their eyes, and everyone's facial features are different. So I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to draw someone's face by looking at a picture, or you can look in the mirror and draw yourself. That way no one's feelings get hurt if you don't like the picture or they don't like the picture because it's you. You could draw someone in your family at home, or you can, again, pick a picture and have that picture out while you draw it. A couple things before you pick that picture or a model. You should know that if they don't look at you straight on, the head is going to look a little different, and I'm going to show you that. But just know, if you want a really easy one, it should be a straightforward shot, boom. If they're smiling, you're going to have to add teeth, things like that. So I'm leaving that up to you. If you think it's going to be too much for you to draw, a crazy face, then keep it simple. It's up to you. So let's get into that demo. Alright, so I will be using this childhood photo of me when I was, maybe 4, and I'm going to be focusing on just drawing my head. So I'm going to start off with that basic circle like we did last week. Just draw the head, but you'll notice that my head is slightly at a tilt. You can easily check a photo by using your pencil to line up to see if it is straight on. If it doesn't equal on both sides, symmetrical, then you probably are at an angle. So using that pencil to line up and find that angle, and that angle will be what you use to make that middle line, because your head's now at a tilt, and the two side lines of the head are also going to be at that angle. Now, using our observation skills, I can see that my cheeks are quite big in this picture, and my chin is very pronounced, so I am accentuating that as I draw the outline of my face. So now I'm going to draw my features and line those up. So it's the same as last week. Your eyes are directly in the middle of your face. Between the eye line and your chin is the nose line, and then between those, the nose line and the chin, is your mouth line. So because my face is at an angle, you'll see that there is different amounts of space behind on the sides of my eyes. So there's a little more on one side than the other. So I am just making note of that and plotting my eyes and what position they are going to be in before I draw their actual shape, and then measure them to make sure the spacing is correct. And now I'm looking at my nose and using the guiding lines to create that nose shape. It's important to note that everyone's nose is different, so you might have a very wide nose, a very long nose, a very short nose, so looking at that and getting that shape just right, and then lining it up with the eyes. You can see I was a little off, so I made some corrections. Using the eyes can really help line up your nose, especially if it's at a different angle than we're used to. Now I'm going to draw the basics of my mouth. Now remember, your lips end in the middle of your eyes, so I'm just drawing those lines so I can line it up. And then my mouth is open, so I'm just going to draw that basic shape of that mouth, which is, a cartoon kind of look, just to get the placement right. And last but certainly not least, we are going to draw the ears. Now mine, you can kind of see a little bit of them, so I'm just going to draw them anyway, and then probably cover them up with hair. So again, they start at your eye line and go down to your mouth, the tops of your mouth, or nose really, but it depends on what ear shapes you have. So now we're going to move on to getting the details, getting the eyes just right. So this takes your observational skills. You need to look at the eyes. Now we know how to draw basic eyes, but now we're going to change them up to fit the person. So some people have different shaped eyes. They can be really skinny, they can be really big, they can be, very more square shaped than a lemon would be per se. So taking the time to really look at their eyes and figure out that shape, and then drawing that kind of shape to the best of your ability. So mine are very rounded at the top and then kind of flat on the bottom. So that's how I'm going to be drawing my eyes from this photo. So again, something to keep in mind that everyone has differently are the eyelids. So some people have really big eyelids that come down quite far. Some people have barely any eyelids that you can see. They are very thin and hidden almost. Some people have bigger under eyelids. So again, looking at the picture and drawing what you see. So in mine, I know it's hard to see, but I have very little eyelids in this one. And including the bone that you usually draw right above, it's also quite hidden. So I am just adding that as I see it in the picture. And of course some eyelashes, same as last time, although I'm drawing mine short because they are short in the picture. So again, using our observational skills to draw what we see. So speaking of what we can see, I can see that I've got some severe lines under my eyes and less above my eyes. So where that brow bone would be, where your eye socket is, it's very not defined, so I'm only adding just little on the edges. And then I'm moving on to my eyebrows, which are very thin in the front, I should say, and then they get weirdly thicker on the back. So again, drawing what you see. How many times can I say that in one video? Let's find out. Alright, time for some nose. So I am just adding our little parentheses like we talked about on the tips, and then connecting that on the sides with a line, and then going into those nostrils. So I am editing mine as I go. What you'll see is I draw it a certain way and then realize it is wrong. So I'm going to try to erase it to the best of my ability. What I did was I drew it like I was straight on, but really, because I'm at an angle, you would see more of the one nostril than the other. So I am just correcting it and making the tip line up with that middle point, which is where your tip of your nose should line up, and that way it is more accurate. On to the lips. So in this picture I have 0 upper lip and a big bottom lip, and my mouth is also open, so that means teeth have entered the picture. So drawing teeth, I usually just do squares. My teeth are quite janky in this picture, so it'll be interesting. But any variation of lips, you just change the size of the circle, and then if it's an open mouth, I just leave a space between the circles, and then use the same technique but with a gap in the middle of them. So taking all that, I am going to draw my mouth, again lining it up with the middle of my eyes. I'm going to draw a very small little upper circles and a very large bottom circle because my lips are weird. So moving on to hair, what I like to do is just copy the direction of the hair, so pretending the hairs, well, they are actually lines, but pretending they're lines, and then just copying that same direction and movement that they have to get it to look like hair almost, and then just going back and forth with my pencil over and over again. Hair's pretty tricky, won't lie, but again, just trying to capture that same basic shapes and curls and waves and whatnot. So that is pretty much it. I'm just going to ink this up, and you can see that I left my eyes without pupils and irises. That was on purpose because I wanted to ink them instead of just coloring it with pencil. So yeah, enjoy this next part. Alright, so that is it. If you need help, you know where to find me. Otherwise, see you guys next week.